Australia is burning, engulfed in one of the worst bushfire seasons in its history. With 33 lives now claimed by the fires nationally, never before has so much of the country been on fire at the same time. And so many people forced to flee or to fight.
Fires come all the way up to here, right up to the base of my mate's place here.
Only days ago, the fire that raged out of control here for a week and claimed 7 lives came within 50 metres of destroying Mick's home.
It's gone right along through this whole valley, and it was quite substantial up this way. When the wind was blowing there, it was raging through there.
15 minutes drive away, the same fire had Mick's trucking business in its sights. With only hoses and a basic sprinkler system, Mick and his son, Lachlan, stood their ground against the inferno.
The fire was coming over here, it was coming over. Then we realised the gardens were on fire as well. At that stage, we probably thought there's not much else we can do, and came back and saw our building still standing, so that was a bit of a bonus.
But Mick's firefight isn't over. His house is surrounded by thousands of acres of tinder-dry forest. The fire conditions remain treacherous. Mick has a full water tanker at the ready for when he returns. Tomorrow, he'll be forced to leave his house unguarded against the threat of fire.
At the end of the day, you've got to get the loads through.
The whole country is in emergency mode. And Mick's volunteered for an urgent delivery, trucking much-needed supplies to fire-affected areas. He's heading 150 kilometres south to the coastal town of Bega, through some of the most devastated landscape in Australia.
All the transport companies are pulled together. We're all talking all the time about routes, how to get through. If there's road closures, we're organising escorts to go through if we need to at some points. It's a tough game, and more obstacles means, you know, more headaches.
With high winds and temperatures up to 35 degrees set to continue, the latest fire forecast, catastrophic. Mick's Mercy Dash will leave his Bateman's Bay home unguarded, and the threat of new bushfires is high.
The sun hasn't come out much, it's always under smoke. It's bushfire smoke at the moment. You can smell it, definitely.
Mick's pushing to make the 300-kilometre round trip in less than 5 hours. Strong winds are forecast to increase by noon, and he wants to get back and defend his property.
The wind is the big problem. That's what makes the fires so quick, is the wind, and the fuel is so dry. Put those two together and you've got a disaster.
Mick's route takes him through the centre of the devastation.
The trees burn up and become dangerous. That's one of the main reasons why they keep the roads closed, because the trees, they'll just fall over. Like the fire might have been gone, you know, a day or so ago, and they just fall over.
The bushfires burnt a massive 83,000 hectares of land along the southern New South Wales coast. 176 homes were lost in the Bateman's Bay area alone.
This is a real situation that, you know, one would call it a national crisis, in my opinion. It's the worst I've ever seen it. The dead animals on the side of the roads and, well, everywhere really. It's as bad as it gets. I heard on the radio that there's possibly 1 billion animals that have died from these fires. People relying on transport, they're waiting for this truck. They're waiting for it every day. They can't start delivering until we turn up. It's critical that we remain on time.
With temperatures forecast to hit the mid-30s and winds gusting to 50 kilometres per hour, the fire threat is rapidly increasing.
Hopefully the boys are waiting down here. They'll get the curtains open and get this load off quick. I'm super keen to turn around and get home and start start making sure that things are all right at home.
Bega, New South Wales. As bushfires rage throughout the state,
Wait.
Mick King is hustling for a quick unload so he can get home to protect his property.
They're itching to get the deliveries done. They'll get it off as quick as they can.
For the moment, Mick's route remains open. With dangerous fire conditions building through the day, he's watching the clock.
Freight's been delivered. We've got about an hour and a half to get back to the depot.
Mick's pushing to get home before midday when weather conditions are predicted to become extreme.
It's the middle of the day that's the worry, though, when the temperature does reach its peak and the winds are coming up to the 30 knots will be the time when we'll be concerned about the fire front. I can feel the heat outside now. It's definitely warming up. See those flags flying there now. The wind's actually on its way up as predicted. Don't fancy spent the afternoon firefighting. It's only 5 minutes to the depot. I'll be jumping in my car and hightailing it straight home to make sure that things are okay up there. Hopefully everything's all right. Time to jump in the car and head home. Wind's blowing. It's quite strong. It's probably up to 15 knots.
Home safe. Load delivered. But for Mick King, the battle continues.
Been doing this for weeks, just driving around up that road and up the ridge. This is where the fire is now. It's literally only a couple hundred metres away.
Mick's house is still untouched. He kept the fires at bay once, but he can't relax. With temperatures rising, the threat of fire is ever present.